Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Maybe you'd like to start by giving us a brief understanding of your background in Japan.
My background? Okay. My name is Satoshi Ishizaka. Just call me Satoshi. I'm currently serving as a Chief Director of Third Way Forum and also CEO of Asian Caesars, my own leadership development company. Well, some people look at me always in leather jacket and so on, think that Asian Caesars is a motorcycle gang of Asian immigrants. But no, I offer leadership seminars and consulting service, not promoting sons of anarchy. My background is quite unique, I suppose. I was born and raised in Japan just in a very ordinary Japanese family. But I really wanted to be like an American since my young age. I longed for freedom and independence. So I went to America to study at a university. But guess what? I really enjoyed it. I probably enjoyed it too much. I had too much fun. So often I got drunk. I was drunk every night, all night. So by the time I realized I was in a pretty bad shape. Then, due to some very strange karma, I met an American Zen Buddhist monk who saved me, trained me, and taught me all about Japan and the real Japanese culture. It was so strange because I went to America to become like an American. But after 4 years in America, I came back to Japan as a samurai instead. But not just a Japanese domestic samurai, but as a samurai with a very international mindset. Then my life back in Japan was not that easy. In other words, it was hell. Most Japanese people did not understand a guy like me at all. I was treated like shit, like an alien by most Japanese people. But then after a few years, once I got into the corporate world, thanks to all the life experiences I previously had in America, and thanks to the teachings of the Zen Buddhist monk, I could handle a lot of business issues pretty well, to my own surprise. And I could achieve a lot, especially in the field of transforming company cultures and transforming leaders and helping both the Japanese side and the Western side to work together better. I got into the HR management and I built my career as a HR professional. And when I realized I was the head of HR department in Japan at some big global companies, including Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, and finally I was appointed as Chief HR Officer, Senior Executive Officer of Coca-Cola East Japan, which was one of the biggest Coke bottlers in the world back then. Then in 2017 in October, I decided to go independent because I thought if I was a chief HR officer, I could transform only one company. But there were thousands of big Japanese companies that needed to change quickly if they wanted to survive. So I started my own business called Asian Caesars. Again, it's not a motorcycle gang. It's a leadership development company. And since then, I've been helping many Japanese companies by providing executive coaching, leadership seminars and lectures, etc. Personally, I have a Canadian wife and two Canadian Japanese sons, so I'm raising an international family here in Tokyo. I tell you, it's freaking expensive to raise an international family in Tokyo. But it's very rewarding for me because it's such a great learning process for myself to try to educate my children as global citizens while developing in them some originality and strength from the Japanese culture as well. As for my own leadership development, I train myself in martial arts. I train pretty seriously. I do a Japanese martial art called Aikido, and I also do a Chinese martial art called Wing Chun. I actually not only practice but also teach both Aikido and Wing Chun. Trying to teach Japanese and Chinese martial arts and their concept and philosophy to Western people, for instance, is also challenging. And it's helping me to think of different ways to explain so that everybody can understand the wonderful wisdom of Aikido and Wing Chun regardless of their background. When it comes to my hobby, I love Harley Davidson. I ride my machine, Harley Davidson Sportstar 883, every day for 2 to 3 hours. It's my meditation. The sound of Harley Davidson's engine makes me feel so peaceful and serene. It's almost like a lullaby. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. I love Harley Davidson's brand promise that says, all for freedom, freedom for all, urging people to find their own freedom. I think that exactly is a spirit Japan is lacking. Japanese companies are lacking, and Japanese leaders are lacking. That's why I think everybody is so tired and so bored and so boring that there is not enough energy for innovation in this country. Probably it was a spirit of freedom which made me want to go to America in the first place. Now back in Japan for more than 2 decades as an internationally minded and experienced samurai, every day on the saddle of my Harley Davidson, I'm wondering how I can find the way to blend this Harley Davidson's freedom spirit with some great Japanese and Oriental wisdom which I've learned from the Zen monk and also through my daily martial art practice. That's the third way culture which I'm trying to come up with for Japan and also for my own life. And probably that's the reason why I'm so passionate about Third Way Forum. Well, that was my story so far. I'm very much looking forward to hearing about your story too. So hope to see you someday at Third Way Forum in the near future. Thank you for listening. It was Satoshi Ishizaka, Tokyo, Japan.